a lot of times what will happen is the kids won't cry all day until they see mom or dad, and then they break out in tears, and the parents like, oh my gosh, were they crying all day? And it's no, but they bottled up those emotions all day, and now you really did come back, and my teacher said you were going to come back, and you really are here, and it's like they're overwhelmed with emotion, and it's good.
Hey guys, welcome back again. This is episode 3 of Brighton Montessori TV. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and today we are going to hit on a few topics that I think a lot of people wouldn't guess that their kids are going to learn at preschool, and even before preschool, right?
Right, in childcare in general, if you're going.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about helping our kids to learn how to separate from their parent, right? And that sounds like a crazy thing, but that's an important skill as well, right? And then we're going to talk about
Manners.
Yeah. Who thought we're gonna drop our kid off at school and they're gonna learn manners? Yeah, right. Okay, so we're gonna talk about manners, and then we're gonna talk about
how to share.
this.
Right?
This sounds like a perfect
Right.
education.
Right. So aren't you glad you tuned in today?
All right. Well, let's talk about that drop off, right? Because is probably maybe the most stressful thing that a parent goes through, especially if it's their first time separating. Yeah, and this goes both ways, right? The parent learning how to separate from the child, as well as the child learning how to separate from the parent.
Right, absolutely. And so, of course, in preschool, we all start our school year at the same time. So the nice thing about Montessori is that students are coming back to us year after year, and they're going to have the same teacher year after year. So when we start out our school year, we're really starting out with new kids as well as returning kids. So those returning kids are walking in really confident. If they started out with us as a 3-year-old, they're walking as a 4-year-old. And I used to call the 4-year-olds the policemen of the classroom, because they kind of are like, yeah, I'm no longer, that underdog where everyone's telling me, oh, wait, you can't do that. Oh, wait, come here. Oh, do you remember that ground rule? They're like,
I'm the big kid now.
Exactly. I got this. But yet they're not quite the seniors of the class, the 5-year-olds, the kindergartners. So, but they sure like to think they are at times. So the nice thing about starting off the school year with 3-year-olds and even 4-year-olds, and we've even had kindergartners join us just their kindergarten year, is that they're walking in a classroom where it's not all new kids with new teachers. There's already been relationships made with the students that are returning and the teachers. So now the teachers can really focus in on those students who are new and have those first day jitters from both the parent side as well as the child side. And this also goes for toddlers. Our toddlers are mixed age, so toddlers are entering a classroom with students who have been in the toddler room for 6 months or a year already, and they're walking in very confident because they know exactly the routine, they know exactly the teachers and what to do in the morning to put their stuff away, and what the teachers have prepared and where the teachers are stationed in the classroom. So they are walking in an environment where the teacher once again can focus on that new kid, and so
that makes sense to me, that the way that you're saying that, where I could see if all the kids are the same age or they're all new, and how difficult that would be for all of them to see everyone else's, everybody's freaking out and I better freak out,
Right.
but if they see everybody else's, this is a safe place, this is good, they look like they're enjoying themselves, then it's a little bit easier to slide in and.
Right, and that's one thing I always enjoyed in teaching, and compared to some of my friends that were educators in a different kind of setting, public school, private school, is you did at the preschool, kindergarten level, you did have kids crying, which is not uncommon at all. These poor little people are walking in, and there's this big person that I don't know, and now I don't know anybody here. But the nice thing is that I didn't have that same first week experience as they did, because I had kids that were coming back and they were excited to see me, and I was excited to hear what they did over summer. Or I had them all summer. They came to summer camp. So that's really the nice thing. And so what we really do is try to teach our parents is that as children feed off of your anxiousness. They feed off of your stress in life. They feed off of your worries. They pick up on that. They're really good. They're in tune to how mom and dad are feeling. And so what we really say, as hard as it is, and I know it's so hard, is to give that one big hug and then hand off your child to the teacher. And our teachers got it from there. Because what they're going to do is they need to start building that relationship with their teacher. And so that's the only way a teacher is allowed to have that relationship started.
I think that's an important thing to describe too, because I think a lot of parents understand that. All right, I got to just rip the Band-Aid off. I got to drop the kid off and go. But what happens next? Because they drop the kid off and go, they're not seeing this. So I think that would be a good thing to explain, is how does that look? That kid may be, melting down as that parent's leaving out the front door, and they have no idea. I think they probably feel like that's going to go on all day long. But that's not usually how it goes. So how does that look for the child?
Right.
When the parent can't see it anymore?
Right. And what the teachers always try to do is, if they're a full day student, already start outlining what their day is going to look like and when mom or dad's going to come back at pickup. We're going to work, then we're going to go for recess, then we're going to have lunch, nap, and then after nap, you're going to have one more snack, and then your mom and dad are going to be here to pick up. So already really establishing that routine for them. But also taking them to something in the classroom that might be a little bit familiar for a child. Like we have a peace corner. In Montessori classrooms, we call it a peace area. And there might be some soft pillows or a beanbag chair or a chair of some sort that the child can maybe go and have a moment. And in there might be just a couple of books or something that will distract the child. That it could be a timer, it could be a snow globe, something that's distracting but the children have seen before. So it's, hey, would you like to check out what I have in my peace corner for you to look at and get yourself calm as you're thinking of your mom and dad. Other kids, they want to be left alone. They don't want you near them at all. And it's like, I want to melt down right here on the floor, leave me here. And the teacher will casually come up, check on them, and say, when you're ready, I'm ready. And just keep planning that invitation. And other kids, they want that snuggle. So let's go in the library and get a couple books and we'll sit down and read. And before you know it, you have, more kids congregated. And now you can have a conversation with those kids. And hey, this is our new friend at school. Can you say hi? And then you can name the friends. So you're really also trying to get them starting to get engaged in the other kids. So that really helps too with that. So I think it's just knowing that it's not something that lasts all day, and it ebbs and flows. As kids get distracted, their mind is on that. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm done and I'm still here and my mom or dad's not here. So it's an ebb and flow of the day. But the nice thing is the teachers also try to help pair them up with an older buddy so that they have a friend that they can kind of start building that relationship with as well. So that helps.
And that's nice that they, so that they're able to see someone else interacting with the teacher, kind of get that feeling of, I can, you can drop your guard a little bit. This person's okay.
Right. And of course, then we try to use that friend of, oh, your friend is here today. Come on in, do you remember? And let's go see what they're doing. Or maybe have that friend by the teacher who's doing the greeting so that the friend can welcome the new child in. And the nice thing is we have an app, a parent app that you can always go right from the door of the school to your car and immediately message the teacher if you want and check in. And then when a teacher is available to respond to your message, they would be happy to. And if they have an opportunity even to snap a picture of your child
and that's
engaged,
what I was gonna say,
they can send it off too. Because we know how hard it is. Or we always tell parents, please just call too, call. You're driving down the road and you're 20 minutes into your drive and you're like, I wonder if they've calmed down. To call the school even and someone can go check in and see what they're doing and give you an update of where they're at. Yeah, you know what? It looks like they're watching some friends do a lesson with the teacher right now. And so we understand and we want to put your mind at ease. So that's really important. And even prior to the first day of school, is start preparing your child too for that separation, especially if the only separation they've really had is to go to grandma and grandpa's house or have their babysitter or nanny come to their house every day. To start reading books about going to school, reading books about making new friends, so that they have a better idea of what it's going to look like and have that conversation. At 3 years old, they'll have a conversation with what they're understanding, and that's why we always encourage families to even bring the child on a tour so that they have an idea of what school is, because we don't know what really they're envisioning what school is. On a TV show that they've watched, school, and maybe that kid went to a really big school, and then they come to our school and see that it's smaller. So that helps lessen that fear. We always have a back to school night so they get to come in with the parents and meet the teachers and just familiarize themselves with the environment. Show them where their hook is to hang up their backpack. Show them where their lunchbox is going to go so that they know my fundamental needs that I have are going to be met, and this is how it's going to be met. I have a coat to keep me warm. Where am I going to keep my coat during the day? I need my lunch. I have a lunchbox, but where do I put my lunchbox? And when do I go get my lunchbox? So really pointing those out for them helps too, lessen that. So we try to already have that set up prior to them coming in, have a little visiting day as well.
Now, how that all makes sense, but how does that work for like a toddler age? I mean, where there's less ability to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Verbally what's going to happen, they're going to kind of probably feel more thrown in.
Mm-hmm. Right, and they're going to cry. A lot of times they'll cry more. But the teacher knowing, once again, how to get them engaged, really trying to pair them up with the teacher at the beginning. That teacher's the one changing their diaper. That teacher's the one that's helping wash their hands. That teacher's the one to help get their coat on. So that they're having, because in toddler age, the ratio is different, so there's more teachers in the classroom. So really trying to bond with one teacher and then branching out to the other teachers in the classroom. But letting them know that it's okay and mom and dad will be back after work and we're happy you're here with us and let's go see what this friend is doing. Same thing, constant communication and giving them the routine of the day, giving them the reassurance that mom and dad is coming back. They're safe, they're okay, we're so happy they're with us. Really helps. And a lot of times what will happen is the kids won't cry all day. until they see mom or dad, and then they break out in tears, and the parents like, oh my gosh, were they crying all day? And it's no, but they bottled up those emotions all day, and now you really did come back, and my teacher said you were going to come back, and you really are here. And it's like they're overwhelmed with emotion, and it's good. It's all good. They're understanding that I'm learning trust in another person, and what they are telling me really did happen. And I'm so happy to see you. So it's tears of joy, not tears of sadness. And that's what we want to reassure our parents too at pickup, is that they're going to come, and understand that it happens for everyone differently. We've had students walk in where the first week it's like, bye, see you later, and the next
It's
week,
harder for the parent.
exactly, and the next week they come in and it's like reality set in, like, oh boy, I really am. This really is the place I'm coming to every day, and then that's when it sets in. But just the easier you just give your a hug, high five, kiss, big squeeze, whatever it is, and leave, the easier and more willing the children will come in and begin their adjustment period.
Okay, so they've gotten used to coming to school. Now they're going to start learning some things.
Mm-hmm.
How are we teaching these kids manners?
Right. Well, manners is a big part of the Montessori curriculum. It's called the Practical Life, Grace and Courtesy. It's one of the sections of Practical Life is Grace and Courtesy.
I'm just preemptive. This I think is something that parents are really, really shocked and impressed with their children,
Mm-hmm.
that what they start doing, and this starts happening at 16, 18 months.
Right.
old.
Even in our infant room,
Mhm.
it starts to happen with how our teachers.
But what they see at home,
Mm-hmm.
And so go ahead. This is I think this is such a cool part of Montessori.
So in a pre-primary classroom, 3 to 6 year olds, one of the very first things that we're teaching is ground rules, and we really tie in the Grace and Courtesy curriculum into our ground rules. How do we get a teacher's attention when it's work time? How do we get a teacher's attention? We're all online and I want to share something. How do I approach a friend and ask them to play with me? So we do a lot of role modeling of what that looks like, and we do a lot of role playing of what that looks like, so that they can really see it in action. So when we're saying, hey guys, during work time, if you need Miss Leon's attention, you're going to come and just put her hand on her elbow, we're going to practice that. So I might get up and move about the classroom, pretending like I'm involved in something, and call on a friend to come show the other friends how to get my attention. And that friend coming and putting their hand on my elbow or shoulder, so that I know that they need me. So whatever we expect, we're modeling it, and we as the teachers in the classroom are the ones also doing that. When I enter a classroom with to any of my teachers, I always go up to that teacher and I wait for them to be done talking to their student, or wait for them to be done with whatever they're doing before I go in and just start talking, because their kids are watching. So we even say when we're doing snack, please and thank you. Those are big words that we really need to keep going. And I feel like a lot of people are so apt to just do instead of ask permission. And I saw this on a recent mom forum on Facebook, the topic of how do I teach my kids manners? And I mean, the kids were even a little bit older than, they were like elementary age, and I was like, what do you mean, how do you teach your kids manners? You should have been teaching them all along. Like, even in our infant room, we're telling the kids, please, we're showing them the sign for please, for more, for, thank you. So they have that communication. Even how to care for someone else. Oh, gentle with the baby. or oh, no thank you, you may not throw the ball. The ball, let's roll it. Or here you go, I'll roll it to you. Can you roll it back to me? Those are all grace and courtesy manner lessons. And that's really how we're doing it in the classroom, is that an interruption, I love to hear what you have to say, but I can't if you're interrupting. And that's not good manners, because now you told this friend here, what you have to say isn't really my concern right now. And it's everyone's concern, just like you want to be heard.
Those are powerful skills to learn. You know, I mean, to just being able to interact with other people has become something that is not as natural as you might think that it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and even just patience. You
Right.
talk about, our kids do that all the time. Brooklyn does it. She does it all the time. Where, one of us will be talking to one of the other kids or doing something, and she'll come up and she will just put her hand on your shoulder and wait until you address her, and then but they're not sitting there going, mom, 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 mom. Well, they do that, but but they have that. They understand that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something that we've seen our kids do.
Right.
You
And,
know?
Even reading books, I always love to read books. It's a great time for you to bond with your child, but there's also good lessons to be learned in a book. And so, books about manners. And when you're at home, at your table for dinner, saying, Jake, would you like some green beans? Yes, please. No, thank you. And you wait for the response. Or, please push your chair in when you get up. Those are all ways to practice the grace and courtesy lesson within your home. And for me, I always want to make sure that my own children, as well as my students, wherever they were away from me, and my own kids, is that I want other parents to know, wow, these are good kids. And it starts with practicing that at home, so that if it's routine at home and they're doing it there, they're going to be doing it in other places. So creating those good habits is so important. So please and thank yous are just what they say, wherever they're at. Yes, please, no, thank you. That's what really is now embedded in them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's now just natural, and that's what we want. And now I'm trying to teach my boys how to hold the door open in public for other people. Because that's even an art that I feel is kind of lost. I know.
They do. It's, yeah.
Is that one thing I always say is people teach you what to either be like or what not to be like. And so I never really realized a mom with a stroller and how hard it is to open a door and push the stroller in to get in the store, till then I became a mom, and it was like, how many people, there were people who would rush, see me coming, and they would like rush to get in through the door so they didn't have to hold the door. And it's just like, really? I mean, where's the art of helping anymore? And just, so in our classrooms, we teach it. So it becomes part of them. So when they're at the park and there's one swing, they patiently wait their turn, knowing that they are going to get a turn. And so that's the nice thing, is that we've been teaching it, modeling it, and implementing it. And so at 18 months, at 3, at 5, it's embedded now in them forever.
Yeah, I think one of the most impressive things is like the sharing of community meals, and seeing a 2-year-old child cleaning up their own dishes, and then hearing people talk about, I cannot believe that my kids want to clean up their own dishes. They want to serve their own food. They want to serve my food. But that's what's happening, even in the toddler classroom.
Right. Yeah, and let them. That's how you know. And that's a perfect way to thank you so much for giving Mom that strawberry. Now I have snack too. And those are all teachable moments. Take any moment you have and turn it into something that's teachable. And now your kid it's not even, you don't even have to say good job. It's acknowledging what they did that's positive so that they do it again and again and again. That's what it's all about. Rather than just, that strawberry was for you, or I want to give my own. Thank you so much for giving me that strawberry. Because how many times have you given the child strawberries? And now they're reciprocating that action back to you. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a huge thing in our classroom, and we will always say, oh, yes, please, no, thank you, those kinds of things, or, oh, I'm sorry, you have to wait your turn. And then eventually, as the year unfolds, we can turn it into non-gestures. If I was running circle time and a student blurted something out because they were so excited, a simple just reminds them, oh, I have to raise my hand. And then I let them raise their hand, and then I call on them so that they just remember. Then it turns into just those nonverbal cues to just give them a simple reminder.
Yeah, and that lasts their whole lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that you do, there's things that we see our kids do all the time at home that were developed through that process.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And the hardest thing of all, sharing.
Yes, so sharing. So we always have parents that are, when they're enrolling or they're touring, and they're like, my child doesn't know how to share, they're the only child, and that's not uncommon. Why would I have to learn how to share something if I've never had to share anything? And so what we really do in our classroom is there's one of everything. And because it's so individualized, the children can go get things off the shelf that they want to do, that they feel an internal need to do at that moment. So if someone feels an internal need to go to art, they can go to art. If someone feels an internal need to do some counting, they can go to counting. But it's when the two children want to do it at the same time. And so now we are going into kind of more of a peer conflict resolution, and having the students help come up with a game plan on what they can do to be successful in, both wanting something and what the outcome will actually be like. And so it could be, if a teacher really did see who got there first, to just say, hey, I did see Johnny there first. And so Johnny, when you're done and you return it to the shelf, then it can be your turn, Sam. And Sam, keep an eye out for when Johnny returns it to the shelf. Or if it's something that maybe there is a way that both kids could work on it together and come up with a game plan that way of how could both work together on something. But in the toddler world, I always say toddlers we are living in the toddler world. And so, everything is theirs, right? Mine is always the first words that they say. And so, is just giving them that simple reminder like, oh, I'm sorry, your friend Simon had this right now. But when he's done, it can be your turn. And so also teaching the kids. Is
it just a repetitive thing with toddlers? Mm-hmm. I mean, how do you approach that?
So it is repetitive of saying, oh, this is Simon's work, and looks like Simon doesn't want you playing with him right now, but we can find something else. And also letting Simon develop those words to say, no, thank you. I'm working with this, so that they can have the vocabulary as they get a little bit older. Those words are going to start naturally coming out because we've been helping prep the language for that situation. And directing that child to something else that might be of interest to them that no one else is doing. And saying, you know, I'm sorry they want to be by themselves right now, and that's okay. We can let them be by themselves. And when you see that they're ready for you to play with them, then you can go ahead and play with them. But right now they want to be alone, and we have to respect their wishes too. They're kids. We have to respect that. So it's just a lot of repetition, a lot of redirection, a lot of the teacher sometimes being there and modeling it for the child, or helping them, coaching them through it and saying, oh, okay, well, you pick this, now which one do you want to pick? And kind of helping guide them that way. But you know, sharing is really hard, especially in the toddler room. They don't understand that. You know, they're living in a world of that what I want is what I want now, not later. And we're teaching them that what you want now has to come later. So it's just that balance, and then that's where the temper tantrums come from. But just acknowledging, I know you're upset, you know, and it's okay to be upset. It's okay. It's hard. I get it. But, you know, letting them understand why this friend didn't want them playing with them, and saying sometimes you don't want to either, and that's okay. We'll make sure that they respect your wishes too. So, but the best thing is just keep putting them in a group setting where they have to learn to share. And they
So,
really
consistency.
do. Right, and they really do. They want to be just part of a group. That's all. And, you know, and they overcome that. They understand the rules and understand that this is my space right now, and that's why we even have rugs for the kids to work on, so other kids know that this is my workspace right now. This is what I want to be doing. So that the students learn to respect the space for a child. And so that's why we have those rugs, and we have some tables that have a 1-chair at them, or a table with 3 chairs at them, to help those students. You want to work by yourself, you can go to a 1-person table, or you want to work in a small group with other people around you, you can go to a 3-person table. So to help give them some of those visual tools too, of where they can go in the classroom. And what they can do. And a lot of times the teachers will even tell the kids, oh, this is a 2-person work, or this is a 1-person work. So it already is preempting them up of what the expectation is. So that they already know, I really want to do that work, but I know it's a 1-person and someone already has it out, so I have to wait my turn. We do it that way too. So a lot of internalization going on.
Yeah, and I think other kind of the auxiliary impact that makes is just being able to deal with not getting your way. Mm-hmm. You know, they're learning that skill, because that's a skill. Learning how to deal with things that when it doesn't go the way that you wanted it to, and they start to learn that through that process as well.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard to share. I mean, even as an adult, there are times I don't want to share my birthday cake ice cream. You know, like, no. And I tell my kids, I'm sorry, this is Mom's ice cream right now. You know, and so.
Somehow they're good at sharing your stuff with themselves.
Right. They don't want to share their chocolate chunk or whatever ice cream they like. But, you know, it's just teaching them those things. And a lot of times it's in real time that you have to teach them. You know, a parent can't already teach their child how to share. Of course you can if you're on the floor with your child playing with them. And you could say, oh, you know what, Mom had this piece first, or Dad's using this train on his train track. When I'm done, I'll make sure you have it. You can do it that way, but it's really hard to have kids walk in and be like, oh, I know what sharing is and I can fully share.
Well, and I think, to another point, I think that's being able to learn that with kids that are their own age, because between mom and dad and the kid, they say, for example of an only child, there's different expectations there. There's an expectation that mom and dad's going to do these things for me, or they're going to give me this, or because sometimes that's just the only way it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But being in that different type of relationship where the two kids are equal, and that's where I think they can really have a better understanding of what sharing is and what
Right.
that means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And so, and when they're with us, that's all they're learning all day. So the kids quickly pick up on that. And the nice thing is once again, the students are learning from their peers. The other students in the classroom are able to also communicate. Yes, you can play with me. No, I'm sorry, you can't right now. And we teach them respect for everyone. So you have to respect their wishes.
Yeah, so I particularly, these are some of the things that I like most about the Montessori philosophy, and I think there are some of the things that are kind of hidden that a lot of people don't understand or don't realize, that the benefits that their kids are going to get out of a Montessori program, that these things are built into the lesson plan. Like you said, it's built into the ground rules. It's they're not an option. They're happening, and they're happening. They're weave in and out of everything that they do, the way that the classroom is set up, the way that it's structured, and I think these are actually the first things that parents are going to notice that their kids are bringing home.
Right. And I think a lot of times parents don't really know what is being taught in a classroom fully, is because it's not on posters in the classroom. Montessori classrooms do not have the ground rules posted on a big poster board and very colorful, and have positive phrases that are draped around the walls for artwork. Our classroom environments are really set up so that the kids are drawn to the materials rather than being distracted with what's all around. And there is artwork hanging on the walls, or there might be a beautiful Montessori quote being hung, but parents aren't walking in and really understanding what is being taught in here. You can't really physically see it through, like I said, the posters or chalkboard, and this is what the teacher's writing down that day. It's all real time, real purpose, and just interwoven casually by the teachers and the students. And most importantly is it's being role modeled. And so when you take the students and the teachers out in an environment, you're left with a classroom of materials. And so you're still missing that other tool of the learning environment, and that's the people inside of it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's, like I said, I love that. I think that's something that is not talked about enough, and so we thought it would be a great thing to share of these kind of hidden benefits that children are going to receive, and they really are lifelong tools that they'll be able to use throughout their life, and so we wanted to share that with you. So
Yeah, and absolutely. And so and I think a lot of parents, when they get together with their nieces and nephews or friends that have kids around their kids' age, I've had several parents in my career come back and say, wow, I didn't realize my kids were doing this until I got together with my friends' kids who are the same age, and they just go to a daycare or they have a nanny come, and my kids were doing things that were blowing those kids out of the water. And it's just that expectation.
And it's not always academically, it's
Right.
also all these.
It's the sharing, it's the grace and courtesy, it's how to be able to separate from one person to another, it's how to help someone that you see struggling. and how can you lend a hand? So that's really what are good ways for you to even know also what your child's doing at school is based on the other environments they're in and what they're doing and how they're reacting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, cool. So yeah, we hope that's helpful and gives you a little bit more understanding of what Montessori is. And like always, we're real appreciative of you viewing and taking your time to see what we're doing here on Brighton Montessori TV. So as always, please subscribe, and if you think it would be helpful, please share it with others. And that's why we're doing this. This is for awareness. This is to spread that awareness of what Montessori can do for your children. So we appreciate that.
All right. Take care, guys.
See you later. Bye.